I'm Myke Shrews.
And I'm Tivis.
And you're listening to
The Munster Cast.
Episode 70. Welcome back, everybody, to the MUNSTERCAST. I am, of course, your host, Myke Shrews, here with my co-host and friend, Tivis. So, Tivis, please tell everyone how you're doing today.
Doing pretty good. Got a long weekend. Get to enjoy holiday here in the States.
Oh, yeah, the 4th. Happy 4th of July, everybody, because you'll be listening to this the day before and or on the day of and the week of course. So for all the States people,
after.
For everybody in the States, happy 4th of July. Oh, right. What the
and
hell
if you're
are we
in,
doing?
If you're in the UK, happy Trader Day. Or is it treason? I can't remember the joke.
Don't make the joke if you can't remember it, Tivis.
I can't remember half the things I do.
All right, guys, real quick before we get into the show, you can find the Munster, you can follow the MUNSTERCAST on all social media platforms. That is Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitter. And you can also go over to YouTube at youtube.com/@TheMunsterCast and check out our pretty ugly faces every Munster Monday, along with all the other video content that we do put up there. Oh, then you can also go over to TheMunsterCast.com website and check out all of our content. Everything from videos, articles, and the audio version of each and every episode, as well as checking out our guest lists and checking out the Munsters Today page that has a little bit of information on there specifically for that show, since there's really nowhere on the internet that does that. So, yeah. Thought that was nice of us to do.
Yeah. I also have the microphone on there.
Yeah, there's also a microphone on your right-hand side of the screen there. You can click that and leave us a voicemail, which we can air on the podcast every week if you guys want us to. Next, there is the MunsterCast.com/merch shop, where you can find all of our, or it's just /merch, sorry, for audio listeners. Where you can just go over there, find all of our Munster clothing that we have designed specifically for you guys out there, the MunsterCast fans, or just Munster fans in general that want to buy a Munster shirt that isn't like on every Amazon store. So yeah, they're designed specifically for y'all. And I think that's all I got. What do you got, Tivis?
Oh, you can email us at TheMunsterCast@outlook.com.
Yes, email us at TheMunsterCast@outlook.com. There you can send us emails of anything you want, as long as it is Munster related. Please, no more diaper ads. We don't want them. You can also send us, your Munster stories if you want to try and get onto the show. If you know somebody who we should try to get onto the show and you know them personally and want us to try and reach out to them, don't message us and be like, hey, get Rob Zombie on, unless you know Rob Zombie and you can get him to come on, because I have found he doesn't do a whole lot of like shows in general. So yeah, unless they're like the big ones, and usually it's for his music.
Yeah. I mean, I know I'd love to talk to him about his old sitcom watching, but you being a fan of his work, you have a lot more.
Oh, yeah.
But if you want to help the show out, give us a little bit of monetary boost to help to keep the show going, because, podcasts may be a hobby, but they ain't free. You can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/TheMunsterCast. And I believe, Myke, you're still uploading to Discord?
Correct.
Okay. So if you join our Lester's next big whatever scam,
investment,
you get access to our Discord, where we are trying to build a more inclusive Munsters community for everyone. Like what you like, don't what you don't. That's fine. Just be respectful. Also, make sure to leave us a review on your podcatcher of choice. Thumbs up on YouTube, thumbs down, whatever. Leave us some constructive criticism. We love that. We want to improve. We want to get better. We can only do that with your help. And tell a friend. That helps the show way more. And if you want to follow along with the show as we're watching Munsters Today, since Universal still has refused to do a box set, Myke has graciously made a link on our website, themunstercast.com/watch the Munsters Today, all one word.
Yes.
Because that's how URLs work. Yeah. So you can go there. It'll take you to the archives where you can watch in the not great quality that we have, but it's better than nothing. At least it's still watchable. Yes, it is. And it's entertaining too. Oh God, this show's so good. What's that? I said this show is so good. Yeah. So what? Oh, go ahead. I'm trying to find something, bro. Like, so we got a voice message from a fan who listens. I wanted to share it. For some reason, when I downloaded it, it's not showing me the audio file anywhere on my computer. So that's fun. And I'm going to try and see if I can play it directly from it was Instagram. Yes. So bear with me. Tivis, please don't talk if you don't have to. Give us 1 second, guys. Here we go.
What's up, guys? I'm Kenny Lovejoy. I have a show called Nerd Culture Shock with my buddy on YouTube, and we podcast and stuff, and I'm a big horror buff, and my love and life is Munsters. And I was going to start a show for Munsters later on down the year. I stumbled across Gerald's show, and I love it. Big fan of it, and I've been watching a lot of episodes. Yeah, great job, guys. I've interviewed Roebuck before, actually. I saw you guys did. He's a great dude. But yeah, I've just been looking through your stuff. I just love it. I've been watching all of them. So big fan, dude. So keep it up. I just love the shit. I just wanted you guys to know that it's awesome. It's fucking fun. It's a fun show. I'd love to fucking be on it sometime. Come on and talk. So I'm just a huge fanatic of Munsters. But yeah, man, love it. Love it.
All right. There we go. And thank you again for that, Kenny. We enjoyed that message, hearing that and stuff.
Yeah,
and
thank you for being the first one brave enough to allow us to play it on air.
Yeah, definitely. And you guys too, also, again, you can send your messages either on the website via email or like he did through Instagram Messenger. So yeah, definitely take advantage of all the easy ways that you can to do any of that stuff, just to proclaim your Munster love.
Yeah, show Universal this is, something worth investing in.
Yeah. Okay.
So, what are we talking about this week, Myke?
So, this week we are talking about the Munsters Lights Camera Munsters, which aired April 29th, 1989. On this episode of The Munsters Today, Marilyn is having
he's got a synopsis
midlife
prepared.
I really don't. On this episode of The Munsters Today, Marilyn is having her midlife crisis as a 16-year-old who is trying to figure out what the heck she wants to do with her life. Does she want to be
quarter-life crisis?
Quarter-life crisis, yes. Does she want to be a sculptor? Does she want to be a filmmaker? Find out on this episode. But as a side story, Eddie's teacher has gone crazy. Can Eddie spell, or is Eddie just demonic? We don't know. Find out on this episode of The Munsters Today as chaos ensues.
I love how that insinuates people who can't spell are demonic. I'm screwed.
I said, can he not spell, or is he demonic?
All right. So yeah, Lights, Camera, Munsters. Season 1 of Munsters Today, episode 19, or the 89th episode of Munsters overall, aired April 29th, 1989, 6 weeks after Two Left Feet. They took a 6-week break.
Wait, how is this the 89th episode, but we're only on episode 70? Oh, because we doubled up for the original series. That's right. Never mind.
Yeah.
I was about to say, wait, that... What?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Okay. I'm sorry. I got distracted. Something happened on Twitter.
It keeps happening. Anyways.
No, we got a message. This was written by Adele and Bert Styler. So Adele wrote for a few episodes here and there for multiple shows. The Brady Bunch, of course. Who hasn't? 24 episodes of the Carol Burnett Show, where she was nominated for 2 Emmys, as well as Bert. Now, Bert's career has a few more things to it. And by a few, I mean a lot. He started writing in 1949. We got The Life of Riley, the Eddie Carnett Comedy Theater, My Favorite Martian. He did 12 episodes of that. And he also got nominated for 2 more awards. These 2 are for All in the Family. And he actually won one of those for Outstanding Writing Achievement in Comedy for the episode Edith's Problem. So, These are stellar writers, and honestly, I think it showed in the episode. And of course, the director, as I mentioned last episode, is Peter Isaacson again for his 7th out of 13th episode. Now we're going to get a little break of Peter here for a couple episodes, and then he'll be back. He's got a few more for season 1.
Peter. How many episodes are left of season 1? We only have a few
There's
left,
24, right? So we are getting real close.
Okay, so we only have 5 more.
5
left.
more after this.
Awesome.
And our guests this week, we have Vernee Watson-Johnson returning as Miss Foster, Eddie's teacher, who we last saw in the one where Herman went back to get his high school graduate.
Wasn't it computer mating or whatever? Mating? Isn't that the one? 'Cause I know he destroyed the computer, so I was just...
It might be.
He fried their computer system. Is that the same episode?
I don't
remember. The names all fold into one another.
Pulling up the list here. No, not season 3. Let's see. Vampire Pie, Little Russian, Magnum Cum Munster. The one that hurts my brain.
That makes sense because he went back to school. Yeah.
Yeah. And then we have possibly my favorite recurring guest. Richard Stephen Horowitz is back as Howie Buchanan.
Howie. Yet another freaking episode that seems like it's out of order too.
It does. Yeah, we'll get it. We'll get to that. We will get to that.
Ugh. Anyways.
Yeah. So we open with Grandpa using a magnifying glass to read a book. Just get glasses, dude. Seriously.
But then
Herman
it wouldn't have the same comedic effect, bro.
My grandma actually had one of those plastic magnifying things to read. I'm like, you have glasses, just wear them.
Well, now they have a thing that's as big as a sheet of paper. You just sit it on there.
Yeah. They have magnifying glasses at CVS now.
Yeah.
To read the prescription.
Are you sure it's for that?
Mm-hmm. It's only in the drug aisle, so.
Yeah, because you need a bunch of drugs to take, and then you take the magnifying glass and go out and torture ants with it. Come on, Tivis.
No, it's the paper
plastic one, the plastic one.
Yeah,
plastic sheet.
And they're on chains, so you can't steal them. Yeah. So Herman is sharpening a pitchfork. Lily comes in with a pot of flowers, complaining the flowers are killing her weeds.
They're killing my beautiful weeds.
Herman asks if he could fetch her some aphids, but she says he used the last of them on his cereal this morning. I'm not a gardener, so I had no idea what an aphid is. Do you?
Yeah, they're the little buggies.
Yep.
That can grow on your stuff. Yeah.
Sap-sucking insects that are the bane of many gardener and farmers' lives.
Yeah.
They come in a wide range of colors and apparently have been found in 280 million year old amber fossils. So they're like ancient.
Yeah. Surprisingly, this year I haven't seen any on any of our garden because we grow vegetables and stuff. And I haven't seen any out there yet.
Well, they're a real problem because even if you see one, they can actually reproduce without partners.
Yeah.
And there's actually some ant species out there that have developed a symbiotic relationship where they will protect them so they can eat the honeydew that comes in their the aphid's feces. Yeah, just some little knowledge bombs.
Yeah.
I haven't had notes in a while, so I thought,
And they're so small, too. Like, a lot of people will just go and grab, like, some stuff, and they won't even necessarily notice them or see them at all.
No, they're tiny.
So, yeah.
Yeah. So, Grandpa shuts his book, angry that the bat he was reading about was used for baseball. This is when Marilyn comes in holding some clay. She asks how a sculpture sounds to them. And you don't...
Sculptor. How a sculptor.
Yeah, sculptor, sorry. And this is... They actually, if you remember, they must have took this straight out of the classic show because she was going to school for sculpting in an episode. And then we had like those 3 episodes where Lily was making that bust of Herman that we never saw completed.
Which I'm starting to wonder if maybe she was doing Lily's or Marilyn's homework for her.
I wonder. Grandpa replies that sounds delicious.
Yeah.
He hasn't had a bite since breakfast. Marilyn's like, no, I'm talking about me here. Me. Lily's like, well, look. We know you can't decide what you want to do even on summer vacation. Why are you trying to plan your life out already?
And Herman pops up. He's already planned for her or for them. He says them for some reason, or they would get married and have a happy American life or whatever.
You buy a home and live a normal life as a couple like Lily and himself. And this is at the point where I realized the pitchfork was for a joke.
They paused. Herman and Lily do the pose for the American Gothic portrait that is very noticeable out there. It's been
the farmer and his wife.
Yeah.
If you don't know what
it's been redone,
the name of it is.
Many a times for lots of different things, lots of movie posters, everything. Yeah.
I hope you use that as our image this week.
But yeah, it was at that moment too. I was like, oh, so the pitchfork thing pays off.
Yeah, I didn't think twice about it, but no, it was set up.
Yeah.
So yeah, Marilyn's like, well, maybe one day down the road, but for right now, like all I want to do is like, what am I good at? Which is something we all struggle with when we're young, even when we get older. Actually, all the time.
Everybody all the time, constantly, like, especially as you're changing and stuff,
Yeah.
Unless you're a politician, then you're just like, I'm never going to change.
Yeah. Yeah. But
then Eddie
it's definitely something that,
go on.
Well, I was just going to say, it's definitely something that teenagers deal with a lot more as, we're transitioning from school into like either going to college or jobs or both. A lot of people now, have to get a job while they're in high school because it's the only way to get ahead in life now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So Eddie enters,
tries to run across from his parents, and his parents stop him, and he's like acting scared as heck. I don't remember what he says exactly. But eventually it comes out to that Eddie's teacher wants to see Lily.
Yeah.
And he does this he did this running and like they stopped him and pulled him back. And as
she grabs his backpack.
As he was about to take off for the final time, he like dukes her and like runs, like pretends he's going one way and like goes the opposite way. And she's just like, what the fuck happened?
Yeah.
This is why Herman should have thrown the pitchfork at him.
Pinned him to the wall. Yeah. Herman's like, why are you so late? Were you at the pet store again playing with the piranhas? He does this weird clicking noise with his mouth.
Mm.
This is where he's like, oh no, the teacher held me up after class. And so again, Herman's like, well, that's nice. His teacher always wanted him to leave ASAP.
Right.
So yeah, this after that exchange, it comes out. They're like, hey, she wants to talk to you. And then he bolts.
Mm.
And Herman, I love the look between the two of them because Herman's confused and Lily is concerned.
Yeah.
Why did she keep her if she wants to talk to you? So now we got cut to the school where the teacher is telling Lily about how she knows Eddie is bright, but he just doesn't seem to be on the same beam as the other children. That's when Lily looks up at the ceiling. The teacher looks up at the ceiling. And then the teacher snaps out of it. She's like, okay, I don't know what we're doing, but she's like, look, here's some examples of his arts that he's been making. Here's a guillotine, misspelled. Lily's like, oh no, that's not how you do that. Then she shows him some art on the wall. There's a tombstone, misspelled again. I'm really going to have to do something about this boy. And the teacher, clearly more concerned about the subject matter.
Yeah.
He's like, look, this is something that can be fixed if you spend more time with your child. And Lily's like, yes, I will teach him to spell. I love what she's showing the wall, the art on the wall too, because she gets the teacher stick out and points to one of them, and Lily's just like, yeah, that's some art. Then she like wraps the chalkboard and Lily's, oh, I gotta read these.
Yeah, it's like goes like farm and a cow and all these, and then you get to Eddie's
rainbow.
And it's tombstones. Oh, tombstones. TOOMSTONE.
Yeah. My child dumb. I can't say that. I couldn't spell for the life of me. So yeah, Lily's like, she's grateful that she brought this to her attention, and she leaves. So the teacher locks the door and goes sit down, starts a tape recorder because she's clearly writing a book on this child without the parents' consent.
Yeah.
And she's like, I need to get more information on Eddie Munster's parents. His mother is probably from California. So here's my question.
Aren't they
Does
in
that mean,
California?
Yeah. Is this version of the family not in Cali?
I guess that we haven't really heard anything, but I mean, the original one was, and it's supposed to be the same.
Was definitely
same family and stuff. So I don't know.
Yeah. Well, we'll see as we keep going.
Maybe the writer at this one just forgot.
It's possible.
Spot. Yeah.
Or they're trying to keep it ambiguous again, which, I mean, they tried in the original show, but they just put too many clues that it's in Cali.
Yeah.
So, she sticks her pencil through the guillotine and it cuts it in half, startling her, which, I mean, what did you expect?
Right.
So now we're back at home. Herman is very upset about the problem Eddie has with spelling. Grandpa says they've always had great spellers in the family. He just doesn't understand it. Then Herman stands up and Grandpa's like,
I understand. Yeah. I see it now. I understand.
So Herman actually wants a spell to help Eddie out. And Lily tells him no. And this is reversed from the classic because, Herman was deadly again, like not deadly, but fiercely against, no, we will not cheat to get ahead in life. We put the hard work in and we earn it. Yeah. And Lily's always like, whatever.
Well, you got to think 20 years of sleeping on a dead brain already. I mean, it kind of makes sense that Herman's kind of gotten a little more
chill. Yeah.
Because his brain was his brain's already a dead brain. in a way,
Yeah.
I guess. But then also going and, being unconscious for 20 some years, and you're just like, oh. And then waking up to a worse environment, so all the pollutants and stuff aren't helping that brain either. So
Yeah, it's even worse than a million monsters at this point.
like, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I remember that now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so Lily's like, all we need is a good dictionary. Hey, I thought that would help me too. But then it turns out it was the invention of autocorrect. But turns out Grandpa has the perfect one for Eddie. Thought that would get a joke out of you, or a laugh out of you.
Ha,
Yeah.
ha, ha,
Yeah.
ha, ha.
So Marilyn comes out of nowhere into the room to announce she's going to be going into the picture business. And Grandpa recommends taking mugshots. She's like, no, she will meet the most interesting people in this line of work.
Mm.
She's like, no. The motion pictures. And Herman's like, oh, you mean like Frankenstein? So someone made a movie about his family, apparently. Because we learned that there were multiple Frankensteins in the previous show, which
Right.
again, with so many different continuity errors, we can't keep going off that classic show. But
We learned that Dr. Frankenstein made multiple monsters, is what we learned. Because
they're all Frankensteins.
Dr. Frankenstein made multiple monsters.
Which are his children, therefore
They are
Frankensteins.
not his biological children, nor did he
doesn't
have
matter.
legal paperwork to adopt them, so they do not have his name.
It does not matter. Are you saying undocumented family members don't count?
Yes. Fight me, internet.
So Lily is concerned that an actress's life is a hard one, and I'm like, yeah, especially back then.
Also, if that was the case, Dr. Frankenstein then tried to get his daughter to marry his son, and that's just fucked up, Tivis.
Hey, it happened in Flash, so
That was a completely different scenario.
two adopted children.
They weren't both adopted. Only one was
No, I'm
adopted.
talking about Frankenstein's.
Oh.
It's screwed up regardless, but anyway. Marilyn's like, no. I want to be a director.
Yeah.
And
I'm just
Grandpa's-
thinking, oh God, a 16-year-old girl trying to be a director in the 80s. Keep her away from Weinstein, please. No.
yeah, that's where my mind went to first too.
The late 80s too. So he definitely would have been starting this stuff back then.
Oh yeah, and I your view being in the film industry is going to be invaluable later on in this episode. So Grandpa's like, hey, live by my motto. Decide what you want to sink your teeth into, and then do it.
Yeah.
Marilyn wants to make a movie and submit it to the art festival this Friday. So they only have a few days to do this quick turnaround.
Yeah, we don't know what day it is. So it could be 5 days. It could be 6 days.
We're going to assume it's earlier in the week. Is that a feasible thing, Myke?
Like a Monday. I mean, we've shot short films before in like a day.
Okay.
Because she's only shooting a short film.
Yeah.
Like I've literally gone and shot when I lived in the other city. I shot like 3 or 4 in one day, just helping different groups and stuff.
Okay.
So it's plausible. It just depends on how much time you will spend on it, to the extent it is, of course. And are you counting building sets and stuff? Because in this one, they clearly do build sets, but a lot of times when you do like short films and stuff, depending on if it's sci-fi, fantasy, things like that, but a lot of people, especially college kids, they try and pick the most basic like sets. So it's like a living room. We're having this deep conversation. Oh, there's a divorce because we don't know how to write anything exciting. So we need it dramatized because we suck at writing. Dumbasses. Anyways,
I was going to ask you if you wanted to say some of the things you worked on, but maybe it's best if you don't know.
I just know that there's a lot of especially for like college students, a lot of the projects I ended up helping on, a lot of them were just like these very dry, drama filled projects because everyone felt like they needed to do drama. Like that was the core of cinema, is drama, like hard drama, like not like a dramedy or anything like that, but just pure drama. And I was like,
hey, Myke.
Yeah.
You never hit record.
Oh, okay. So what? I guess we're not getting a video for this one then.
All right. Sorry, go on.
But yeah, that's just how I felt about it. Yeah. And I know other people still to this day who only want to do drama, and that's fine. But like, you also need to open up your wheelhouse of what you're willing to do. Like, don't get me wrong, I would never write comedy because I suck at it. You have to. Comedy is probably one of the hardest things to write for, in my opinion. Dramas feel like it's the easiest thing. Just write about your life, like real life, and you're good.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
So, the family completely forget about Eddie at this point and instantly just want to help Marilyn with her more interesting thing.
Yeah.
She wants them all to play characters, and Herman's like, well, that won't be easy. And I can't help but feel that this is kind of a jab at, some of the critics who say that all the actors in these shows are nothing but character actors. I'm like, isn't that most like TV? I don't know.
The actors themselves in the show are not character actors. They're just playing characters.
Well, I know, but you ever listen to anyone complain about any of the other monster stuff? Like, it's just a character actor. What the hell does that even mean?
For the Munsters?
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense because all the actors have gone and done way different things. If they were being character actors, they'd be playing basically the same character over and over in everything that they've done.
I know.
That's what a character actor is.
It doesn't make sense to me at all.
Like,
this is why we are building our Discord.
Is a character actor. He acts like the same fucking character in every movie.
He acts like The Rock.
Yeah. So that's a character actor in a way, you know. But yeah, I don't know. Ryan Reynolds, another character actor.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So
I think I just heard my wife say "fuck you" or something. I'm not sure.
I mean, you're not wrong. So yeah, they start arguing over. Well, first, Grandpa's like, "Hey, I have Hitchcock's old camera," and she's like, "No, I already have one. That's okay, thank you, though."
Yeah, she says she's gonna borrow her friend's camera, and then Herman goes into this like John Wayne character.
Yeah, he's like, "It should be a Western.
It should be a Western."
It's great because, again, I feel like this person was familiar with the classic because if you remember, there are a few episodes where Herman was pretending to be a cowboy.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so Lily's like, no, should be a rom-com like Phantom of the Opera. And Grandpa's like, nah, make it a family film with a lot of heart like Poltergeist. Lily like, oh, wait. Exorcist, the musical. Which I did not look this up, but I would be shocked if there hasn't been an Exorcist the musical because they are turning everything into a musical these days.
Let's see. There's a play. Oh wait, Exorcistic, the rock musical parody experiment of The Exorcist. Yep, it is of The Exorcist. It's a rock parody. Yep.
That sounds hilarious. But Herman's like, hey, let's compromise. A romantic Western murder musical.
Yeah.
Romeo kills Juliet at the OK Corral. And this whole time that they're talking about this, they're ignoring Marilyn, who's in the background trying to get their attention. Like, hey, I have an idea. Why aren't, no. So she eventually storms off, frustrated with the entire family. And Herman's like, well, what's wrong with her? And Grandpa's like, directors need to know how to throw a tantrum. But then Eddie comes in and everyone remembers him.
I'm going to hit record on our video now.
Oh, okay.
There we go.
I'll pull everything back up then.
Oh, you're good. You're good.
Yeah. Sorry, all of our YouTube
40
viewers.
minutes in, and you guys get to see our pretty ugly faces now, guys. There's going to be audio stuttering before this.
All right. So, Eddie comes in. Lily's like, hey, what's wrong? He's like, the teacher wants to give me a weird test tomorrow. I hate it. He's like, well, look, we're going to need to talk to you about, what's going on. But I think your teacher should talk to a man. And I don't see what that changes anything from what Lily already talked to the teacher, but sure. Okay. Herman asks, what he put The Exorcist, the rock musical parody experiment poster up on screen for our audio listeners.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, wow. That's vulgar.
That's a line from the actual movie.
I know. But yeah, so Herman's like, who do you have in mind to go? And she just turns to him like, she's like, hey, we'll go upstairs. Like, that is not how you look at someone to ask them to go talk to a teacher.
Why not, Tivis?
The next day at school, Eddie is doing well on his test so far. Herman is spinning the globe like crazy on the Miss Foster's desk. And she's like, wouldn't you be comfier outside? And he's like, nah, spin. She like sticks her hand on it. And she's like, hey, why don't you go sit down or something? I'm really sick of you already.
Take a seat, green guy.
Yeah, she really does not want him there.
Can I just
scared of him? She's just annoyed.
Real quick before we dive more into this Eddie subplot.
Yes.
The Munsters families are really big movie buffs, it seems.
Yeah. Because
they were shouting off so much different stuff, and we get more later too. Mm-hmm. I was just like, dude, they really make the family like a big movie buff thing. And I guess it's just something that ends up happening in a lot of movies when you start talking about movies, because the writers, of course, are probably movie buffs, so they just put it in there. But I'm like, it actually kind of fits with these characters, with how they always talk about movies or shows and stuff throughout the seasons.
Yeah. Okay. Do you remember they were talking about wanting to watch was it Friday the 13th?
Friday the 13th.
One of the Halloween movies. I can't remember which.
It was Friday the 13th, like
part 14 or whatever.
Yeah, it was when Herman was supposed to go to space, and they were like, well, you'll miss Friday the 13th, part 14 or something. Yeah, something that never happened, by the way. It still hasn't freaking happened.
They haven't even reached the original goal of 13. So
yeah,
maybe one day
they're just gonna reboot it, which just sucks.
Yeah. So, oh boy, what just happened on my screen? Everything went dark, and now it's back. My whole everything refreshed.
Are you good though?
I'm good. It's back up. Okay. So she's like, all right, I'm going to give Eddie an oral test now. So I'm going to say some things, and I want you to say the first thing that pops into your mind. And Herman begins answering for Eddie. And she's like, will you shut up? I am so fed up with you.
This is why teachers don't like parents.
Yeah, so she's like, all right, we're gonna move on to an ink blot test. And she's like looks at her and she's zip it. She's a lot nicer than I am, but this is what
Yeah,
she
yeah.
means to say. So
And
he
then
like locks his mouth, throws the key away, and it hits something in the back of the room. And I'm like, what? What?
yeah, it's like the rope tightening scene in Endgame where you hear it. I'm like, oh god, we're just getting random sound effects for an invisible key now.
Yeah, but he
Or
reacts
maybe
to
it's
the noise.
or maybe it's a real invisible key.
Yeah, that's what I was wondering. So the first image, Eddie's like, that looks like Grandpa Stanley playing hide and
Yeah.
seek in the cemetery. And Herman's over there like, ooh, call on me, call on me. And he's like, oh, that looks like a bunny rabbit in the jaws of a vulture covered in leeches. She's like, okay, that's it. Thank you for your time. Go away, Mr. Munster. Don't ever come back. And she's like, after they leave, well, before they leave, Herman's like, did Eddie pass? And she's like, yes, get out.
Yeah,
So
she
locks the door.
She kicks him out, but Herman stands up and he's stuck in his chair still. So he just walks out with the chair on his butt. and as they walk out the door, she rushes over and locks it, and then she goes and puts some
barricades it with a chair.
desk chairs in front of it, because these are the chairs that have the desk built onto it. But I'm like, yeah, that's not gonna hold him.
No, he
I don't
can
even
come
think
through the wall if he wants.
Right. I don't even think the lock would stop him. Then we get a nice exterior shot of the house. And again, I still can't believe that this is a model, because of like how they do some of these shots.
Details,
yeah. They even have like paper blowing in the wind and stuff in front of the house because it's a night shot.
Oh, they went all out.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so we're in the kitchen with Marilyn chopping food with a hatchet and Lily asking if something is bothering her. She answers in a menacing way, wondering how Lily could think there's something wrong at all. And Marilyn, she's like, look, you added a pound of diced worms to the cake batter when I only used half a pound. So
yeah,
Marilyn like bursts into tears, and Lily's like, no, it's okay. You can put 2 pounds in if you want.
Can someone also show this person how to use a cleaver? Because that's not how you do it. She was just hitting the back part of it, and I'm just like, you're gonna break it. Like, you're really gonna break it.
And so yeah, Marilyn's like, it doesn't work. And Lily's like, what are you talking about? She's like, we need to be open and honest with each other, like the Brady family, like the Addams family.
She says it a lot. It's a lot nicer than Tivis just did, though.
Oh, she says it very fondly.
She says it in like a romanticized way.
Yeah, I would love a crossover between these two families. Like with all of the companies teaming up to do stuff, do this. Just one special.
Do you imagine Rob Zombie's Munsters meets the Tim Burton Addams family?
That would be great. If only the dad was still with us.
What that?
From the 90s.
Tim Burton's Addams family is the Wednesday show.
Oh, you're right. Yeah.
Tim Burton didn't do those movies back in the 90s. No. They
some
look
reason,
like he did.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's his aesthetic, so that's why I got confused. But
well,
no, yeah,
I mean, the whole Addams family aesthetic is a Tim Burton aesthetic, and that's why people were surprised that he'd never done one and so forever. So that now they finally did one. I could see the Addams family from Wednesday meeting those Munsters. It'd be freaking weird, but
oh, that would be awesome. Imagine Eddie getting enrolled at that school.
Bro, Eddie and Wednesday hook up.
I don't know about that. The director said they're gonna move away from romance. I could just see them getting into trouble together.
What director?
The writer that showrunner for Wednesday said they're done with romance subplots for season 2.
Which means they suck at writing it. That's why. Okay. Moving forward.
So yeah, she's like, so again, what is wrong? And Marilyn's upset because it's her movie and everyone is. Lily says butting in, and Marilyn says, there you go again. I'm the director.
This whole time, Marilyn has the cleaver in her hand too. She's tightening it and gripping it more and more and swinging it back and forth. And Lily is just like looks at it and she's like, yeah, let's take that out of your hand.
This reminded me of like a modern day serial killer thing. Like Marilyn, she's got some dark in her.
She gets driven to be crazy.
Yeah.
Like a axe murdering wife or something.
Yeah, like she's represents the real life killers versus the fictional monsters the rest of the family are.
That's a good one. I like that. The especially for the 80s when we were having more of those.
Yeah.
Hot.
You know more about that than I do.
Yeah, I mean, it's not like we didn't have them in the 60s too, but it just we found out a lot more as the 80s were hitting and the 90s.
Oh,
so
yeah, like the Toledo guy who threw body parts on the side of the expressway.
On the dirt or in like one of the water areas?
I couldn't tell you. I haven't looked up, but I just know he owned one of the
Tivis out here spreading false
Circuit City or something like that. No, it's real.
I know who you're talking about. I just didn't know where he got rid of the Herman parts. Herman would appreciate that guy.
Yeah, donate those.
Oh,
yeah,
God,
so
we got dark real fast.
We did. So Marilyn's just, she's like, I'm the director. I have an idea. You guys should listen to my idea. And Lily's like, okay, yeah, we'll do that. Sure. Give me that before you hurt me. And that's when we get the, why do you have Starro on your face? So Howie has shown up.
This show this way.
I'm glad you hit the camera for this train wreck. So Howie has shown up with his camera and tripod. The door opens and closes on its own. And unlike the previous episode we saw him in, which was the last episode we talked about, he doesn't seem as familiar with the door or the owl. So I'm like you said earlier, I wonder, is this one out of order as well?
I feel, and if that's out of order, this is like one of the first episodes then that was written. And maybe not even that they shot it out of order, but maybe they just wrote it and were like, you know what? No one's gonna notice.
Well, we did.
Maybe that's why they've never put it out on DVD or anything, because they're like, oh crap, people will notice these things.
I mean, it's fine. The Batman animated show was released out of order. No, it's fine. People will make lists for us Batman to watch show. What's that?
Yeah. The 60s Batman had a lot of stuff out of order too.
Yeah.
Everything does. Lots of things do. I felt like things were shot out or released out of order with the Witcher series almost. And then I realized what the heck they were doing because I was so confused by that first season. I was like, I don't understand what we're doing with how they're telling the story.
For those who know of Doctor Who, the last season 26, the last of the original series, they actually had a plan for his character to get darker and to represent that his suit would transition from white to like gray to black. And they ended up doing the stories out of order. So it would just transition back and forth for no apparent reason. But it was supposed to have a visual representation of the character.
Right. But
So,
instead, they
yeah.
just didn't mean anything.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But
Nice.
yeah, so
Howie
Marilyn
shows up.
she's like, I'm so glad you can make it. And he's like, yeah, that's one of us.
Yeah.
I'm only here
He's
because
like,
I would
"Oh,
do anything for you, Marilyn.
Oh, poor Howie. I feel so bad for the kid."
Yeah. But Herman sticks his head out, says hi, and Howie says almost anything and turns to leave.
Yeah. And then she gets him in there to go into the living room, I think it is what they converted
Yep, where
into
they
their
built
soundstage.
this cool set.
Yeah.
And Marilyn's doing her director thing. Howie's setting up for the shot. And right as she shouts action, Howie has a minor panic attack and checks this. What's the thing around his neck?
Oh, that's for his lighting. Oh, well, no. What he has is for his lens. I'm thinking of a light meter. He didn't have a light meter, but what he had was to check the focal length and everything of where he needed his camera to be, which would be the best setting for his camera, because those cameras that he's using anyways, they didn't have any, massive settings or anything like that. So because he's using like a VHS camcorder. So
Yeah.
it's not like it's a cinema camera.
It looks like the same one my dad used to own, honestly.
It looks like ones I've turned into lamps. So
yeah, well, anyway, Grandpa can't be seen, and Marilyn's like, "Oh yeah, he doesn't photograph well." And Howie's, who sounds annoyed at this point, says,
yeah.
"He doesn't photograph, period."
Yeah, she's like, "Oh, Grandpa doesn't photograph well," and he's like, "Grandpa doesn't photograph at all." He's like annoyed and scared all at the same time.
Yeah, the thing I love about Howie is he's like nervous when he shows up, but when they put him to a task like teaching Herman to dance and stuff,
Yeah,
he's all in. He's focused. He's there to do a job now.
Oh, did we miss the part where when Marilyn broke down and she like cried and ran off? I just saw it in my notes.
No, that was I mentioned it briefly earlier when they were all talking about her film without her, ignoring her.
And she runs off and throws a tantrum, and they're like, "Well, the first rule of being a director, throw tantrums."
Yep.
And then Marilyn runs off, and they're like, "Marilyn's gonna be a good one." I love that line. Oh,
yeah.
anyways.
Grandpa's like, nobody's perfect, and Marilyn's like, "Hey, go put a bag over your face or something." He's like, "How am I gonna get discovered now?" You
Grandpa,
won't.
you're never getting discovered. No one can see you. Where is that audio coming from?
Is it me? Let me mute.
No, it's me. It's me.
Oh, okay. So yeah, Lily's playing some kind of princess and begins calling charming Duke Moon Hiker and his robot companion RSVP onto the set. Who is Herman and Eddie busting through the wall instead of walking around it.
Yeah.
Then the Dark Breather is after her, but she is brave and he is charming, and Howie wants to leave, but Marilyn grabs him. Yeah, he's definitely like more used to the family in the episode we saw last time.
Oh yeah,
at least.
Yeah.
So Grandpa
that's why I'm confused if he's, because he wouldn't have run away from Herman after just showing Herman how to dance and stuff in a previous episode.
Yeah, I think that's what I kind of like about the few times we have seen Dustin is he's used to the family. Like he's like, oh yeah, it's the Munsters. Okay.
Yeah.
Even though his parents are real weird about it, it's like I feel like that's something that's really missing from the show is the representation of I know these people, they're good people just because they look weird.
Yeah.
I know I've said it before, but
no, it makes 100% sense because we're the whole thought process of the show was to do a show about these characters because they're monsters. Yeah, Universal owned their monster things, but it was supposed to be the commentary of, you know, foreigners, or, you know, how people treat people just because of how they look and all this stuff. And it seems like it got lost after so long, where they're not trying to show the progressiveness of each time level with it. Because and I said before, though, I feel like how some of the people react with the Munsters in this show is still because in the 80s we were a little more progressive with like the race stuff, but they were still a foreign family, and the people still treated foreigners in a way of like they were okay with it, but also they had like this, not everybody clearly, but like there were people that had still like distrust or disdain or some kind of emotion about that just because they were quote unquote foreign. And I feel like that's what they were going for in the 80s version anyways. And here in the 60s you can clearly tell that they were going more for, so like, oh yeah, this is a representation of like yes, you know, an immigrant family, but also representation of how people were reacting to black people and stuff back in then, in the 60s. So I could see it how it could be worked both ways, though, like with, you know, that it should be more progressive and stuff. And I feel that if Rob Zombies were to have gotten more into it, because we never saw the family with normal people, quote unquote normal people, outside of, you know, Transylvania,
the very last shot.
But even then, like the people weren't reacting to the Munsters. That was Herman and Grandpa reacting to them. Yeah. So
that awesome shot at the end of them posing.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I got you. And who knows? We are only on the first of 3 seasons, so maybe that will get addressed. There's plenty of time to, so.
Or maybe they won't do anything different.
Yeah, that's what I'm expecting, but it would be nice. Anyway, Grandpa
Have
misses
the Brady
his
bunch
cue.
move in next door.
Oh God.
Secretly, the Brady bunch. Secretly, the Bradys are the ones who bought the neighborhood, demolished the Munster house, and built their house there with their fake grass in the backyard.
I thought that was Desperate Housewives. So
Desperate Housewives just fucked the whole lane up. They just screwed all of it up. They went in there and they what was that word? They help me out.
Demolished?
To the neighborhood. They
Homeowners Association?
Up. Where they make it so that, like, the people who grew up there can't afford the fucking houses. What is that called again? Damn it. Gentrified. Yes. Thank you, babe.
Okay.
They gentrified the neighborhood.
Ask your wife.
That's what the Desperate Housewives did to Mockingbird Lane. And they even changed the name.
Hey, I'm working again. Okay.
I don't know what the heck that was for, Tivis.
Because I've been stuttering this entire time since you started the video.
Okay.
So yeah, Grandpa misses his cue and rushes out with the bag over his head now and some gloves on so he can be seen.
Yeah.
Howie compliments Lily's acting, but Grandpa can't see. He's like, I can't see or breathe under this thing. So Grandpa zaps Eddie and Herman, and Howie's like, how did he do that? And Marilyn, exacerbated by it, she's like, just get on with it, Howie.
There was some like wind zap too. I'm like, I'm not even sure how he did that.
Yeah. How they leave and Grandpa is, no, Grandpa, get back here and fix them. So he's like, oh yeah, zap. Herman begins saying something, but Marilyn says, look, that's Eddie's line. So Eddie begins doing his beeping noises. even though it was actual dialogue, apparently.
But did you see the face on Eddie's costume? It resembles the Tin Can Man.
No, I missed that.
Let me see if I can pull it up here real quick, and I'll drop it in here. Because at least to me, I thought of Tin Can Man when I saw it here. Let me add it in here to the video, and you can be a judge for it. Is it this one? Let's see here. And I may be wrong. I may be just overthinking it. Boom. On the front.
I could see it.
And then he's got the pointy ear things on his front there, on his helmet. Yeah.
No, I could totally see that. Yeah.
So I was wondering if that was like a throwback to Tin Can Man.
It almost has to be, honestly, with Eddie. Eddie built that thing with Grandpa.
Right.
It was played by Butch, or voiced by Butch in the movie that didn't come out for like 40 years. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say, yeah, you're right. Listeners,
do that.
Viewers, what do you think? What is your opinion on this? Do you agree? Do you disagree? Love to know. So yeah, they're reenacting. And by the way, this seems like a Star Wars ripoff, doesn't it?
Star Wars or
Spaceballs.
Anything at that point, you know.
Well, I say that because we're about to have a lightsaber
Flash
fight.
Gordon almost, yeah. But yeah, they do have the lightsaber battle, so
yeah, the teacher walks in during all this, and literally like they have the lightsaber fight. Like that's what's happening right now. And
yeah.
They go off screen. It starts with Herman and Grandpa. They go off screen. They come back, and Lily's fighting Grandpa. That's awesome. But yeah, Miss Hoover walks in. That's her name, right?
Yeah, because teachers just walk into your freaking house.
Or Miss Foster. Who's Hoover? I don't know. Anyway. Well, she even says, like, your door was open, so I just walked in.
Usually, you call ahead of time.
Yeah, you normally. And when Lily notices her, she is like, so you spell guillotine like this, Eddie? And Grandpa's like, yeah, I'm a villain, and you spell it like this. And Herman says, and this is my Lily. And he begins spelling that Myly.
Yeah, they all just start spelling crap.
Yeah. Of course, Herman does his wrong.
And you notice how they all used it in the sentence. He didn't spell it wrong. He spelled my Lily right. He just
Myly. He broke it up.
He spelled Myli.
No,
I guess
there was a pause.
He paused. Yeah.
And so Howie's like, oh yeah, I used to be one. Or no, I'm sorry. First he complains, I don't have Miss Foster on my cast list. Like, yeah. What are you, the cameraman? Or so he comes over. I can't say enough of how much I like this Howie character, and I'm so glad we have at least a couple more with him. Maybe more, because we already know they're not all recorded in IMDb. He's like, oh, I recognize you. You were a former student of mine. You couldn't spell to save your life. And Howie's like, I know how to spell my name at least. But Marilyn's like, yeah. No. Come on. Let's go into another room. And I'm like, Howie, now's your chance. Go with her.
Right.
So Lily's like, oh, go ahead.
Oh, Howie tries to spell his name. How. And he pauses, and then like Marilyn has to grab him, and he's like, IE. Yeah. To remind him how to spell his dang name.
Miss Foster's like, so this is Lily's like, Miss Foster, this is Grandpa. She's like, oh, I love the costume. And I love the long red nails. I know I was so worried about Eddie, but now I realize you were all just practicing for I'm sorry, Grandpa loves her long red nails.
Yeah.
Don't know what that means, but she's like, now that I realized you guys were practicing for a movie, now all the spooky house, the costumes, the makeup, looking
It
at
all
Herman.
makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah,
He's
he
like,
says that.
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go on.
Well, this is where Eddie must get his imagination.
Yeah.
So, I'm going to give Eddie a favorable report. And Eddie howls and then spells outrageous with multiple O's.
Yeah.
And honestly, I didn't even think about it, but this has to be an extremely fun day for him. Like, they're all just having fun together as a family.
Mm-hmm.
And that scene, Howie aside being there, it kind of encapsulates what people love about this, are so drawn to, even with the classics where it's not as prevalent as they think it is.
Right.
Like, they're all they're loving, they're caring, they're having fun with each other. They enjoy being around each other. Especially when compared to other shows on at the time, like Married with Children.
Mm-hmm.
This is like, to me, this is why I love the Munsters.
Okay. I can see it. It was good. I enjoyed seeing the family interacting, all of them, because we rarely get them all interacting under the same project and stuff within one story, which is kind of cool. Yeah. Except for, like, I think the last time we saw it with this version of them was when they did the rental, like the Airbnb type thing. But I think Marilyn wasn't part of that, was she?
In the classic show?
No, in this one. With the dickhead guy.
Yeah, no, Marilyn was there. She was playing hostess in the backyard,
yeah.
remember?
Yeah, so that was like the last time that they all like did something within the same storyline that I remember for all of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so then we go past that. We get she leaves, the teacher leaves anyways, after Eddie does his outrageous.
And we move on to the final scene.
And we go back to the final scene where we get to see the giant, big original VCR. I have one of those in my closet. It probably annoys the shit out of my wife because it takes up so much space.
You taught your kids how to repair it, didn't you?
Not that version. I taught my my oldest. He learned how to repair one of the newer version ones, I guess. Like, well, from the 90s, late 90s.
Newer.
Look, they don't make them anymore. They're all vintage.
Well, they kind of do. They have the VHS DVD dual pack.
Not anymore. They don't manufacture them anymore. They stopped manufacturing VCR stuff 5 years ago now. 5 or 6 years. Okay.
That's a lot longer than I expected them to. In all honesty.
Yeah. Yeah. So they're all sitting down, and Marilyn brings out her video that they're going to watch what they just all created, and Lily has to play the interlude on the piano. Very old school, like an old school cinema. So she played that, and then they turn it on.
And I love the first reaction we get, because we don't see what's on the screen, but
yeah,
you see everyone else kind of looking confused, and Herman like, ooh.
They all clap then. Oh, it's so bad.
Yeah.
It's like all sped up.
Lily's like, I don't remember sounding like a chipmunk.
Yeah, she's like, I don't remember talking that fast.
So turns out Howie shot the whole thing in the wrong speed. So here we are.
Yeah. Yeah.
And honestly, when she says this line, it sounds like Marilyn is on the verge of just snapping. just mentally breaking.
It is what it is.
If one more thing goes wrong, I'm gonna go get that cleaver.
I don't know. She looks kind of, happy-ish about it. She's like, that wife look. She has that wife look of like, oh, this is great. Thanks for
Mentally
doing
exhausting.
this. I'm gonna fucking kill you in your sleep.
Yeah. Herman's like, I'm not half bad in this, and Grandpa's like, yeah, you're not half good either.
Well, you took my last note.
Oh, I'm sorry. That's my last note as well. That's the end of the episode.
It's the last line,
we get
basically.
like a minute of them watching this and reacting before finally it freeze frames. But
yeah,
like, so final thoughts. I think I went first last week, so you start.
All right, final thoughts. I mean, I enjoyed it. I liked to see the family interacting, and it was nice to see. Because we're watching the show, we understand the family, but it's nice to see that the teacher cares enough to wonder what's going on.
Mm-hmm.
So I thought that was a little piece. Like, yeah, they use it for comedic element and stuff within this episode, but I thought that it worked well too. With oh, this is teachers should be involved. They should ask questions. They should try to get to meet the family or something. Yeah. So I like that aspect with the Eddie stuff, but with the Marilyn stuff, she just doesn't know what she wants to do, bro.
She's trying to figure it out.
Sculptor to director. So clearly she just wants to be an art student or like an art major or something when she goes to college.
I honestly thought she was going to bring up cooking in the kitchen when she was dicing that stuff.
It's not the 60s.
You could still be a chef. What are you saying? Women can't cook?
In the 80s, though?
Yeah.
You think there were female chefs in the 80s? Let's see. Like, how many chefs in the 80s? Yeah. Well, I guess, yeah, Martha Stewart, right? What, didn't she? She wasn't a chef, though. What the fuck is this image? Top 10 famous female chefs. Sorry. Julia Child. Oh, yeah, Julia Child. Duh. I'm so retarded. Sorry, Tivis. I know you don't like that word.
Society don't like that word.
Society doesn't know what it likes. Martha Stewart, I guess, is technically a chef. Okay. Yeah. Never mind then.
Yeah.
But this is the image that popped up when I Googled it.
I did interrupt you. You want to continue your thoughts?
Yes.
So,
yeah, no, I enjoyed this episode, dude. Like I like seeing the family going crazy. I like seeing especially with after talking about it and thinking about that with Marilyn, about her could potentially be like the family member who represents like a normal horror villain rather than like the spooky looking ones. That kind of that makes sense, dude. Like the axe murderous wife or the Black Widow or something. Oops, sorry.
The last shot of the robot. RSVP.
But yeah, no, overall I enjoyed the episode. Probably one of the better episodes within the last couple episodes that we've watched for me. So yeah. Real quick before I ask you, this is the image that came up when I googled female chefs. That's like, oh crap.
Yeah, that makes sense.
All right, but how about you,
audio listeners will have to go check out our YouTube page for that one because I don't even know how to describe it. How to
describe this? You describe this. This is what Norman Bates looked like when he dressed up like his mom. There you go. There's a description. Tivis doesn't know what he's laughing so hard you can't even hear it in the microphone. It
Oh,
is.
damn you.
I
Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Oh yeah,
broke Tivis.
I thought this one. I thought all the characters had something to do in it. Even Grandpa, who was a little light in this episode, when they went to started filming and stuff.
Yeah.
And it's really nice seeing the whole family doing this, and having fun together.
Oh yeah.
It's yeah. Boy, when I sit down to try and make a top 5 for this season, it's going to be
Hard.
It's going to be tough. Oh my
Yeah.
God, is it going to be tough?
Yeah. I just really like the representation of all the family members getting along, getting in on one storyline, like there were still that subplot going on, but it all came in together as one, which was nice.
Yeah.
And we rarely get that anymore with these episodes. Like they rarely are just
they like
together well.
to do spotlights on one or two at a time. And
yeah,
which I like, but I also really like the family doing stuff together.
Yeah.
So I will say this, if I was going to pick some episodes to tell people to go watch and give it a try, this would definitely be among them.
Okay. Good to hear. All right. I guess real quick then we should do some other stuff that needs to be said, Tivis, because we forgot to say at the beginning. And it doesn't matter because the video, I apologize to the people watching the video too. The video just wasn't recording for like the first 20-30 minutes or so.
Hey, you especially have been very busy. Mistakes happen. In 70 episodes, we made this mistake, and that is a hell of a run. So
yeah. All right. So real quick, guys, also remember you can go over to Tubi and watch the Marineland Carnival show.
Oh yeah, we keep forgetting about that.
If you haven't checked that out, Tubi is a completely free app. We get no pay for this. We just want people to go and watch this so that they understood what we were talking about when we talked about the Marineland Carnival. So go over on Tubi, that's TUBI, and check it out, guys. You don't even need to create an account unless you want to save where you're currently watching, I guess. Like if you stop.
Yeah, you can make a view list and stuff like you can in everything else.
Yeah. Other than that, guys, just again, make sure that you hit us up on email, MunsterCast, TheMunsterCast at outlook.com. Or hit us up on social media, anywhere you want. Again, thank you guys for everything that you have shown and given us, conversations, everything. And thank you again to Kenny for the messages that you've been sending us and allowing us to share the voice message that you left us on what was that? Instagram. Yeah. So thank you for that, man. And we hope that you are enjoying the show still, and we hope that everyone out there still enjoys the show. And again, if you guys haven't been watching these episodes that we've been doing, again, go over to themunstercast.com/watch the Munsters Today, and that'll take you directly to the archive.org site that has the Munsters Today on it.
Yeah, and one more little bit of shilling. Again, the Munsters, I'm not exactly sure what day, but it will be removed from Peacock in the very near future. So if you go to themunstercast.com/Munsters box set, you can pick up the box set. It's a really great box set, and we get a couple pennies in kickback.
Yeah,
it's honestly not that much, but it does help support the show. Or go pick it up from a local store. Either way, it is a great box set. I cannot stress that enough.
Yeah, they have them for $20 at Walmart and Target, I think, locally.
I'm pretty sure we converted all of the hunters to buy this thing, so it's well worth it.
So yeah, definitely get that, guys, because it not only does it have the original series on it, it also has the bonus colored version of one of the episodes. It has documentaries, it has the first two
Pilot.
movies, and the unaired pilot as well on there. And speaking of unaired pilots, because archive.org does not have the Munsters Today pilot, you can also go over to youtube.com/@TheMunsterCast and watch it there. We do have it uploaded in one of our video areas. Take advantage of watching it there. It's 15 minutes, I think it was.
Yeah, roughly.
Like that. It's really a good explainer too before you even watch the show to understand some of the basically they took the
pilot made the intro.
Made the intro, yeah. Thank you. I am not good with my words today. But I do remember gentrified now.
I forgot about it until you said it again. So, thank you so much to everyone supporting us and joining us for this ride. It's been a blast, and we love hearing from you guys, from like seeing all the collections that people had early on in the show, to talking with people about the movie coming out, to hearing people discovering us now as we talk about today. It's been so fun, and please join us. Hopefully we're gonna try to make it next week. Yeah, for Neighborly Munsters.
Ooh,
which
I wonder what
do you think it's gonna be about?
I don't. So as you know, so people know, we don't watch these ahead of time. We watch one a week as we go through it, and I don't know. Neighborly Munsters. It has to do with something with their neighbors, right? Like their neighbor.
I'm hoping so, because we haven't really seen a whole. We had Herman go next door that one time to call their doctor, but it's like, because we've seen quite a few neighbors in the classics. I mean, the very first episode has the lady who's like, "I want you to leave." I love the mailman. Then we had the one who bought that machine from Charlie, and then the family who Herman interrupted on Thanksgiving. But we haven't really seen any of their Munster or their neighbors in this show.
So, yeah, it could go many different ways. Neighborly Munsters, it's just the Munsters being friendly to their neighbors.
Mr. Rogers is there.
Or maybe Mr. Rogers is there. Wouldn't you like to be my neighbor? That's ingrained in me for the rest of my life. Thank you, Mr. Rogers. Or could it be potentially like the Munsters are trying to be friendly with a group of neighbors, and it's the 80s, so maybe it's like the Julie Dreyfus character from Christmas Vacation, National Lampoon's Christmas Vacation. You remember that couple that lived next door?
Oh yeah.
Maybe it could be like them. Because that's what I picture when I picture like 80s dickhead neighbors, is those guys, or like Marcy Darcy. Fucking Marcy. Oh
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Maybe we'll meet Howie's parents. I can hope.
Does Howie just live next door? Yeah, we just want more Howie.
Yeah. Howie
that he should get cast in the next Munsters movie. Or
I want to reach out. Yeah, I want to reach out to Richard and see if we can get him on here, because I would love to just talk to him.
Yeah, he'd be awesome to talk to, especially as we're both Power Ranger lovers, and you know, he'd probably just get annoyed. He'd be like, "Oh God, no! Please, no more alpha people. No, stop asking."
How often do people?
I don't know where Zordon is from. Please leave me alone.
It's Eltar. What are you talking about? Everyone knows that. Yeah, how often do you think he gets to talk about being on the Munsters Today? Like, I feel like we have a good chance.
Yeah, and you got to think too, like, because he was in the pilot, so it has to, you know, the pilot
was there from day one.
He was there from day one, but the pilot is generally how they decide whether or not they are going to move forward. So you got to think, you know, maybe his performance helped with that. And they kept him on clearly for several other episodes. They just didn't give him IMDb credit for some reason.
I tell you what, If we get, I'll go ahead and put a milestone on our Patreon. If we get enough support to cover a IMDb account, I will sign up. And I will.
I might know somebody.
Add this stuff.
Yeah. I might know somebody too that has one, so maybe I'll hit them up and be like, "Hey, add this person." Because I used to have an IMDb Pro account, but then I was just like, I don't want to. Why am I paying this? Like, it was only worth it for when I was filling in production stuff on there, and I just didn't see the point anymore. At that point, the productions might as well just freaking pay for it. Cheap bastards.
Anyway, I hope people enjoy their 4th of July week in America and everywhere else. I hope you also have a wonderful week.
We're traitors to you all. Ha ha. Happy 4th of July. All right, Tim, so you got any last words for us then? Besides that?
I'm just loving this show, dude.
Sounds great. All right, guys. Well, with that said, we will catch you next time as we take another stroll down 1313 Mockingbird Lane.
I want you to learn is it doesn't matter what you look like. You can be tall or short, or fat or thin, or ugly, or handsome, like your father. Or you can be black or yellow or white. It doesn't matter. What does matter is the size of your heart and the strength of your character.